We do have a very special and very secretive announcement that we're going to make right now ahead of dessert. In fact, it's so secretive that that's all I know. I've got nothing on this run sheet. I wasn't trusted with the secret, so obviously they know I'm hopeless with a secret. But Steve Glasson, the national coach, is a man that you can trust with a secret. And Steve Glasson, OAM, is going to join us on stage right now for this very special announcement. Glass?
Thanks, Jack. I trust you, but yeah, and you're doing a great job, by the way, so thanks, mate. Look, I will have to read this because I do need to get it right. It's really important, so just please apologise having to read some of it. But I'm very honoured tonight to begin the opportunity to announce something that's very special in our sport. It also saddens me to some extent as it brings with it a close, perhaps an end of an era, so to speak. Before I get to that, though, tonight we're celebrating so many amazing achievements. Clubs, officials, volunteers, performances through disability, juniors, seniors, open. And we also stand to applaud those joining the Hall of Fame as well as those being elevated to the legend status. So heartiest congratulations to all finalists and recipients, so very deserving. In our sport and many sports, we all too often refer to people being iconic, masters of their skills, GOATs, if you may, greatest of all time. In my time, I've been blessed to witness so many incredibly talented, tactically amazing, driven, articulate and meticulous competitors. Those with nerves of steel, freakish ability, and of course the best in the business. Most certainly in this case, I refer to someone who's become a very close personal friend, someone I admire, someone who, from a teammate and coaching perspective, has had an amazing ability to be exceptional as a player, as a role model, an ambassador, a game changer. However, above all that, a person with the most incredible ability to be a sponge for information, to challenge the status quo, to laugh, to cry, to love, and sometimes to drive the likes of myself absolutely nuts. So tonight, after 646 tests, with more to come at the multi-nations here on the Gold Coast, and then the BCiB Jackaroos versus the rest of the world at Moama, the legendary and iconic Karen Murphy announces her international representative finale. Yes, this is the end of an era spanning some 22 years, half of Karen's age to be exact. Sorry about that. Whilst keeping an eye on the big screens with just a few of Karen's highlights on display, would you all please join me in welcoming the one and only Karen Murphy to the stage.
It'll be on her forehand. She needs to negotiate the front bowl of Leslie Dawes, and if she gets some movement on the jack, it's going to be in her favour. Giving it a fairly good chance.
Yes.
Here. She's stalking it.
She got it.
The game is over.
With the jack. She's got 3 out of it.
Oh, she may even have 4.
She saw it.
She's got
4. And she's won it. What an outstanding finish to this match. There was nothing looking at like safety in this game for Karen Murphy. She played a superb shot. In fact, when we see that shot again after the elation of this, we'll see what she did. Took the jack cleanly. It went back far enough. And she has won the final by 21-13. Stunning finish, an outstanding achievement, a wonderful performance here from Karen Murphy. She successfully defends her title as world champion.
What a ride, eh? What a ride. Why now?
I don't know, guys. I just think it's. I think it's time. I think I need to go and make some new memories away from bowls, I suppose. So it's yeah, it's been a great ride.
Going good. Going good.
I think too. I think you know, over 22 years of playing for Australia, it's you know, I've seen the game change a lot, and I think, you know, like a lot of people, I remember you saying, Glas, you know, I think you know when you sort of don't have the drive anymore, and look, I've had a ball. It's been amazing.
Any tough one? Any regrets?
No, I don't think so. I think one thing I'm probably really happy about is the way in which that I've got to, you know, to do it tonight, and you know, that's probably very like dear to me, I suppose. No player really gets not every player or not every athlete probably gets a fairy tale ending sort of thing, but I think this is probably the next best thing. So yeah, I think it's time.
I think there's only one other person I know in the room that actually got a little bit of a send-off when it came to an end was Rexy. I think I remember playing an international test match, and I think Rex, so you got two icons that are deserving of it, so well done. Your biggest bowls highlights, let's keep in mind you've won all over the world. You were the world number one. You competed in 5 Commonwealth Games, 5 World Bowls, Asia Pacific Games, Hong Kong Classic, South African Masters, Women's World Match Play in the UK, etc., etc. But what are the highlights in bowls only, that stand out to you?
My first highlight would be winning the pairs with Linz in 2006 in Melbourne, which was absolutely awesome in front of a home crowd. So home games, that was huge. I think winning the World Singles in Adelaide was awesome, and then probably to back it up in 2016 was awesome. Probably achievement-wise, they'd be the top 3, I think.
Fancy retiring when you're the current world champion. That's quite amazing itself, isn't it? So, other highlights perhaps off the greens, and I'm just going to mention a few you might want to add to this, but you've been a World Bowls board director. You did the athlete oath on behalf of the entire Australian athlete and coach contingent at the 2018 Commonwealth Games. Of course, you're a Bowls Hall of Fame, Bowls Australia Hall of Fame member. You've got your own business going. What are your other highlights?
A couple stand out, I think. One of the highlights, or one of the things that I sort of really will look back on, is probably the change I've seen in bowls that, you know, since I started, sort of thing. The change in bowls, the wonderful influx of young girls that now play. I tell a story when I first sort of started playing bowls when I was old enough to get my licence. You know, we used to wear the old skirts and big hats and stockings and all that sort of stuff, and always made sure I got petrol the day before, so I didn't have to get out at the petrol station in that get-up. So that was one thing. But yeah, I think the change in the game has been something that I've really seen throughout my career, and that's been amazing. I think another highlight too for me has been the fact that I've been part of a team that's been world number 1 in our women's team since 2008, which is 11 years of being world number 1 within our women's team is something that's absolutely incredible, and to have been a part of that has been amazing. Really, really good. Yeah. Some and a lot of the girls in this room have been a part of that as well, obviously. And then also I think too, just our high performance team for Bowls Australia is envied throughout the world, and to have also been part of the culture and been part of the evolution that our team has progressed with and continues to progress with is amazing. So, and that comes down to you guys and to the HP team, but you know, we are envied by the rest of the world, and hence why, you know, we are you know, dominant worldwide and our HP teams. And culture is, as I say, is always evolving and will get better and better. So to have seen that, over the years, get better and better, and I think, it's I love that the rest of the countries don't like it.
There's some young guns in the room, and we've been privileged to hear from just a couple of those tonight, but what really first attracted you to the game of bowls?
Yeah, I used to ride my bike down to the local bowls club. I lived at like a little beachside community down at Shoalhaven Heads, and Dad used to play, so I just used to ride my bike down, hang over the fence and nagged him till I had a go. Started with little carpet bowls. I took about 4 rinks of grass. I love sport. I'm a sports nut. Still play touch footy and different sports and things like that. But I guess bowls won out in the end. And look, it wasn't cool to play bowls when I was 11. And yeah, that probably has only changed in the last few years. I think that I really enjoyed it. I probably found that I came quickly quite good at it, sort of thing. But I never sort of told my friends that I played too much. I didn't admit it too much, but. I was really lucky to come through in an era with Brett and Gary to have sort of been played in the Luwa Academy of Sport, and I was the only girl, and I was for a long time, sort of thing. But I learnt very quickly to play like the guys, and it was a nice time to come through because a lot of the players in the Luwa Academy of Sport ended up playing for Australia. So it's been amazing. So look, Mum and Dad still live down at Shoalhaven Heads. They've been an amazing support as well, and listening to Kira and Jared say, thanks very much, Mum and Dad driving me around Australia. Nothing changes. My mum and dad used to do that until I got my licence too, so same thing.
It certainly was a good stable. You mentioned Brett and Gaz. There was others, Adam Jeffrey, Leif Selby, Troy Somerville, so you were certainly surrounded in a remarkable era, just to name a few. So I know you're a massive and deservingly so advocate for women in sport, particularly in lawn bowls, and I think it's fair to say that over the past 22 years, you've certainly had a fair degree of input and help the game in the women's side evolve. We talk about uniforms and things like that and just the game itself. You're the star at a very young age. But women in sport, Australia is doing particularly well with women in sport these days. They're probably kicking the men's butt, it's fair to say, in a lot of sports. Do you think there's any real reason for that, or is it because they're gaining more deserving exposure?
Yeah, it's a great time to be a part of women in sport, I think, at the moment with the flow that's on at the moment with AFLW. I think our women's cricket team, Ash Barty. The list could go on. Australian women's bowls team, but I think the girls' ability is becoming definitely more professional and I think they're just they're deserving of the recognition that they're getting now too, and in regards to the money that's getting behind sport as well, sort of thing. So you look at AFLW, the way that they market the women's game now is just as good as the men. And I think looking at bowls now, I think we lead. Bowls Australia leads. The professionalism of bowls throughout the world. They do a great job and they promote the girls just as well as the guys, and we are one as far as equality goes within bowls. So it's been a great way for women in sport around the world as a whole.
You're holding up better than I thought. You've done very well, so you're going really good. So a bit of insight. Don't look at Lindsay. Don't look at Lindsay. Whatever you do, don't look at Lindsay's just over there, by the way. Don't look at what now for Karen Murphy?
I'm going to go where the breeze takes me, I think. I'm not really sure. I've really thought about it. I don't really want to jump into anything yet. Ben's here tonight. We've got our first meeting for the Commonwealth Games Athlete Advisory Committee in a couple of weeks, which I'm really looking forward to. But I'm not really sure. I'm sure it'll be bowls related, but Paul and I want to go overseas, maybe to Europe for a few weeks and travel a bit and just, I think maybe just go and make some other memories away from bowls, because at the end of the day it's been I can't repay bowls what it's given me over my career, but I think you go and make memories away from bowls, and there is more to life than bowls, I think, at the end of the day. But it's been amazing.
having had the privilege to speak to you about this at quite great length, I'm sure we're not losing you from the sport by any way, shape or form, so we'll still see you around. But look, there's still 2 more events. Let's get fair dinkum. Like, there's 2 more events you've got to play in. You better play good, okay? You better play good. We've got multi-nations, and I know one of your desires is to finish not just on the podium, but with some gold medals there. On the second day of the multi-nations, you'll play your 650th test for Australia, which is just crazy ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah. And of course, it all culminates the finale in Moama with the BCiB Jackaroos taking on the rest of the world right at the end of November. So, what do you make of that event?
I think it's a great innovation from World Bowls and Bowls Australia. You know, like we are the powerhouse in the world, and it'll be great to see how the Aussies stack up against the likes of Alex Marshall and Joe Edwards and the likes. So let's get into them, guys.
Be more interesting to see how they stack up against us, I think. So yeah. Now I need your help just with one final last thing. I need you to nominate, I think, 2 of the players from the ladies group, from the Jackaroos, from the girls' ranks, because it's going to take 2 of them to take your place in this, I think. With you not being around as a player, who's going to give me that look? And there's some candidates in the room. I can see Tash, Kelsey, Beck, Linz. Who's your 2 that you think could possibly fill that void?
Oh, Van Ash is a shoe-in. That's it, just Beck.
Just Beck. Big shoes to fill, yeah. I don't underestimate it, don't worry. Look, naturally, I'm sure everybody joins me in applauding you for everything you have brought to the game of bowls, be it world's best performances on the green, your exceptional ambassadorship on all levels, or simply being an outstanding and proud Australian representative. For all that the future holds, no doubt it's super exciting for you. And well, you'd need a lot more money than sense to bet against you not being successful in anything you put your hand to. Tonight is a celebration of the most remarkable person. Be sure to catch up with Kaz tonight if you would. Shake her hand, give her a hug, pay tribute to one of the most outstanding bowls athletes in history. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Let's all applaud Australian national cat number 56, the GOAT, Karen Murphy. Good job, you did very well. All right. Okay. All right.
We're going to take a short break. I think that's the best possible way to wrap things up for now. Please make sure you get over and say congratulations to Karen, and we'll be back very shortly.